Good morning, this is Kramer's Corner with the daily technical update. It is Tuesday, the 16th of April. We have interesting development in Nvidia yesterday. Got rejected once again at a 906.34 resistance right there. Double top pattern could unfold a close bit of this gap area here, then expect a larger sell-off down to around 777, 742 around this support area here. It really needs to close above 906.34 to resume uptrend, and it doesn't really seems like that's where we are headed at the moment. Also with the overall market, we have the S&P 500 that from the beginning of the session yesterday trying to get back above 5,146. Also did it for a few minutes, and then heavy selling took it down to test the 5,057 support. We are in a bearish trend, and as you can see here, there is negative sentiment. So actually what has happened is that now the divergence has been cancelled, but now we are actually in negative sentiment. So there's likely more selling in coming days, possibly down to around 49.53 if it can close below the 5,057. Nasdaq 100 also closed below 17,808. Support at 17,478. Could see a sell-off down to around 17,000. It is not given, but that's at least where the support levels are at the moment. If it can close back above 18,000, then I think we will see uptrend resuming. In Europe, EUROSTOXX 50 also selling off from already this morning. We have it actually closed back above 4,976, but it was very short-lived, and now we are headed lower. Support at 48.88, and I think we could see it dropping down in this area around 4,800. The 55 moving average will give some support. DAX also this morning now really breaking below the lower rising trend line and the 17,900 support. Expect a sell-off down to 17,620, where there will it's really very strong support here, but it's not unlikely we'll dip below. Amsterdam currently trading around 872 support area. This is the gap area. That is a support. We could see it dipping down, but it will be more critical if it actually closes the gap, meaning if we're closing below 860. The CAC index just above the 7,875 key support under this gap area here. Bouncing a little bit, but it actually needs to close the gap up to, and let's just add that line there. So this is where it needs to close above 8,010 to at least neutralize this sell-off. But we are in a downtrend, and currently the RSI is pointing to lower levels with this negative sentiment. Finally, on the Swiss market, that has been fairly heavy lately. Also selling off down to the 786 retracement at 11,222. It is not the strongest support, and as you can see here, RSI pointing lower. We could see the Swiss market dropping further to 11,100, 11,060s level in coming days and weeks. FX market, euro dollar dipping lower, further low this morning to the 176.4. Projection of this uptrend here at 106.02, just above 106. I think we will see here today, coming days, that some buyers will try to buy the dip. Let's remove this one. But we are in a downtrend, and we could dip lower in coming days and weeks to around 105.64. You can see this is a consolidation area over here. That's where we're trading at the moment. So expect a lot of volatility around these levels here. I don't think we will dip down to 105 just now. But but we are definitely in a downtrend. And if we look at the weekly chart, that is also some interesting development, and it was actually mentioned in one of my latest pieces on euro dollar. You can see it broke this triangle-like pattern here, where it's trading around the 100 weekly moving average, just around the 786 retracement of this uptrend right there. But we do have risks medium term to the downside to around 105, really strong support around here. Whether we'll get there short term is debatable. You can see also RSI in a negative sentiment, but that can change in the coming. No, it can't, because we actually were below last week. So we are in a negative trend. We are broken this rising trend line and lower lows and lower highs. Moving on to cable, also quite heavy, testing the 124.10 support this morning, which is also 176.4 projection of this uptrend here, and could dip lower to the 123.75, but I think that will be it, at least for now. But also medium term, it looks fairly heavy. You can see it's broken some key support levels here. We could see a move medium term in the coming weeks to 122.5 level. Dollar yen, on the other hand, is really on the move, pushing higher above 176.4 projection. There should be room up to around 155.30, which is 100% of this correction here. So as illustrated by the vertical arrows, I think we could move up there, and then we will have a correction. We are a little bit stressed on the RSI, the strength indicator. Euro yen, on the other hand, more muted this morning after bouncing strongly yesterday. I think we will be stuck range bound between 162.60 and 164.5 in this range here. It really needs to break out. It needs to get back above 164.55 for upside potential. So that's the level you really need to keep an eye on. Also, yen bounced yesterday strongly up to the 61.8 retracement at 100. Just around 100. It needs to break above that and close above that for further upside potential. We could see a retest of 98.70 level there, which is a little bit of a support, and 786 retracement. If it breaks below, well, then we are looking at 98.17 level. Sterling yen, also massive move yesterday, rejected here at the 786 retracement at 192.75. Expect a little bit range trading here the next couple of days. It really needs to break back above 192.75 or below 194 direction. Aussie dollar, really heavy sold off. Also 64, very close to this morning, and is likely to be tested here fairly soon. And then we are also in this consolidation area here between 64 and 62.70. I think we could see a move down to around the 63 level, and if we also take a little bit of a Fibonacci there, well, then we can see where there are some potential levels around 60, 63, 80, 63, 55, possibly a little bit lower, but I think then it will be stretched enough for correction. Dollar Canada also higher, despite being a little bit stressed on the strength indicator, but there's room up to 139. Whether we get there in the first go, I don't think so. I think we will have a little bit of a correction before then, but as you can see here, this is the levels there, and then if we get up there, then I think we will get a larger correction hitting the dollar Canada pair. Euro Swiss below support at 97. Could maybe try to move around here. You can see that the RSI is not below 40. It's still in a positive sentiment despite having some divergence. You can see the values here dropping while the market were trading higher, but there is risk to the downside to 96.20. And if we add a little bit of Fibonacci there, well, then maybe down to 96.40 around this level, and then I think they'll be done. But we also have the 55 moving average coming up. Skipping the dollar Swiss today, really not much going on, but the dollar index, we are above 105.96 resistance. There's a little resistance from that area over here. There is potential up to 107, but I expect a little bit of a correction, a little bit lower, I would say. But we are in an uptrend that can take it much higher. Moving on to gold. That dipped yesterday to the 38.2 retracement of this leg up here. If it takes out that level 23.19, expect a sell-off down to around 22.67, 22.55 in a correction. We are ripe for it, but the overall trend is still up, so we should regain some ground. However, here on the silver, 27.53 is the key support to look out for. A break below, well, then we are looking at the 26.40 level. Platinum has already retraced the 38.2 to around 960. I think we could drop lower to maybe the 61.8 retracement at 935. It is still lacking all the others, and I think it was just tagging along, and it does look a little bit heavy, to be honest. Moving on to the energy market, well, crude oil doesn't really do much. A lot of volatility around the 85 level here on WTI. Brent oil also here around 90, still has potential up to around 93.80. There's no divergence, so we should see it moving up there in coming weeks. What is also interesting is that Dutch TTF gas, well, it actually closed above the resistance at 31.22 yesterday, and is following through. Today there is now room up to around 35, 80, 85 level, where we have some stronger resistance, where we also have the 200 moving average coming down, and the 38.2 retracement of the entire downtrend there. Finally, on the US Treasury yields, 10-year pushing higher towards 470, and I think it will be tested fairly short, possibly also all the way up to 475. The overall picture, we are in an uptrend. We could move up much higher in coming weeks, but for now, 470, 475. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day and happy trading.